I was at a crowded house party with friends, the kind where maybe half the people there. It was around 11 at night, the party was in full swing, and I went to grab a drink from the kitchen. That's when I noticed someone I didn't recognize kept staring at me. He wasn't in my circle of friends. He was just watching. When I moved to get a cup, he followed me. When I turned around, he was standing much closer than before. In the next 15 minutes, something could have escalated into a dangerous situation, but I knew exactly what to do. Here's how I survived that night, and more importantly, here are the tactics that will keep you safe in any situation like this. So here's exactly what happened. I'm standing in the kitchen getting a drink. The kitchen is small, maybe 10 by 12 feet, and it's packed with people. I can see the main doorway leading back to the living room. That's the primary exit. There's a back patio door, but it's blocked by people. The man I noticed across the room walks straight toward me. At this point, my heart is racing. I'm aware something is off. He stops about 3 feet away, which is well inside my personal space. Then he leans against the counter between me and the living room doorway. I've just lost my primary exit. Now he's talking to me, asking my name, where I go to school, trying to make conversation, but his body language is wrong. He's not just making small talk. He's closing the distance, and he's doing it deliberately. His shoulders are turned toward me at an angle. His head is tilted down. He's mirroring my body position. These are all signs that he's trying to establish a dominance and control the interaction. He asks me if I want to go somewhere quieter. That's when I realize this is no longer casual conversation. This is an escalation. Now, here's exactly what I did and why each step matters. I want you to understand not just what I did, but the psychology behind why it works. This is crucial. The very first thing I did was assess my options. I looked around the kitchen. I identified 3 possible exits: the main doorway behind him, the patio door to my left, currently blocked, but could become available, and moving deeper into the kitchen toward the back hallway. I also assessed who was in the room. I knew if I needed help, there were at least 5 other people within arm's reach. This is critical. You never want to be completely alone. I positioned myself so I could move toward the densest part of the party. The moment I assessed these options, I shifted my body weight. I didn't say anything yet. I just changed my physical position. Next, I used my voice. When he asked me if I wanted to go somewhere quieter, I didn't panic. I didn't say, "Leave me alone," or "Stop it." Those responses are aggressive, and they trigger a defensive response in someone who's trying to establish control. Instead, I said something very specific. I said, "Hey, I'm actually expecting my boyfriend to arrive in a few minutes. Let me go find my friends." Notice what I did here. I gave him a face-saving exit. I didn't shame him. I didn't make him feel rejected. I gave him a practical reason to back down without losing face. He can accept this excuse without feeling humiliated. This is psychological judo. I also said his name. Wait, no, we hadn't actually met, so I couldn't do that. Instead, I used a friendly but firm tone of voice. This is important. If you sound scared, predators know they can escalate. If you sound angry, they feel attacked. If you sound calm and in control, they know you're a harder target. As I said those words, I did something equally important with my body. I didn't face him directly. That's confrontational, and it invites confrontation. Instead, I turned my shoulders at about a 45-degree angle, positioning my body toward the main doorway. I shifted my weight to the balls of my feet, ready to move. I took a small step sideways, creating distance and a clearer path to the exit. My arms stayed relaxed at my sides. I didn't cross them. That's defensive and signals fear. I kept my hands visible, my shoulders back, and my head level. This combination of movements told him something very important. I was alert, I was aware, and I was ready to move. Predators look for easy targets, people who are frozen, isolated, or who seem panicked. When I showed him I was poised to act, he became less interested. Here's the 4th element, my eyes and my voice tone. I maintained direct eye contact with him, not aggressive, not fearful, just steady, alert. In that moment, I looked him directly in the eye and I said my excuse with complete confidence. My voice didn't shake. I didn't talk too fast or too slow. I spoke like someone who wasn't scared, someone who knew exactly what she was doing. When he reached out and touched my arm, which was crossing a serious boundary, I didn't freeze. I didn't scream. I used a firm voice and pulled my arm back at the same time.
Don't touch me,
I said, with the same calm confidence I'd been showing, and I did it while already stepping toward the living room. I didn't make a huge dramatic scene. I didn't accuse him or attack him verbally. I simply made it clear that I wasn't an easy target, and I was removing myself from the situation. The final and perhaps most important tactic, I removed myself from the situation. The moment I said, "Don't touch me," I didn't wait for his response. I turned and walked directly toward my friends in the living room. I didn't run. Running triggers a chase response and predators. I walked with purpose and confidence. I was deliberately moving toward a group of people I trusted. The moment I reached my friends and told them what happened, the situation ended completely. He stayed in the kitchen. He didn't follow. Why? Because I was no longer an easy target. I had support. I had people who knew what was happening. And most importantly, I had acted decisively. So why did all of this work? Let me explain the psychology. Predators, whether they're trying to isolate someone for harassment or worse, are looking for easy targets. They're looking for people who are alone, who are unaware, or who freeze when confronted. They're looking for victims who won't fight back, who won't create a scene, or who are vulnerable in some way. The moment I showed that I was alert and aware of what was happening, I became a harder target. The moment I stayed calm and set a clear boundary with my voice and my body, I signaled that I wasn't someone he could easily control. The moment I had a plan and executed it, assessing exits, using de-escalation, positioning my body defensively, moving toward support, I showed him that I knew what I was doing. It's not about being physically stronger. It's about awareness, strategy, and confidence. It's about understanding that predatory behavior follows patterns. And when you disrupt those patterns, most perpetrators back down. They look for easier targets. Here are the 5 things you absolutely need to remember. 1. Trust your gut. That feeling you get when something is off, that's not paranoia. That's your brain detecting threat signals. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Don't ignore it. 2. Have a plan before you go out. Know your exits, know where your friends are, know what your response will be if someone crosses your boundaries. This sounds paranoid, but it's just smart. 3. Set boundaries early and clearly. Don't worry about being polite if your safety is at stake. A simple no or "don't touch me" is enough. You don't owe anyone an explanation. 4. Use de-escalation when possible. Calm voice, clear message. Give the person a way out that doesn't make them feel humiliated. This works in most situations. And 5. Remove yourself from the situation. The goal is safety, not confrontation. Get to people you trust. Get away from the threat. Most predators will not pursue someone who's made it clear they're not an easy target. If something does happen to you, if you're touched without permission, threatened, or assaulted, know this: it is not your fault. What matters is that you survive. What matters is that you're okay. Your safety and your well-being come first, always. If you or someone you know has experienced assault or harassment, please reach out for help. Subscribe to this channel for more survival awareness and safety tips. This content exists because your safety matters. Share this video with people you care about. Knowledge is power. You are strong. You are capable, and you deserve to be safe.